Hi, everyone.
Hey,
I'm Alicia,
and I'm Meredith.
and this is It's About the Pasta, a Vanderpump Rules podcast, season 5,
Five. Reunion
reunion 3.
3.
We did it. We made it to the end.
Woo!
Yay, I can't wait to talk about this reunion and finish season 5
I
finally.
mean, closing the book here on season 5.
Necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Finally. But
I
okay,
know.
before we get into it, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast. We have Summer's Fun, a Summer House podcast, which is also a Summer House Martha's Vineyard podcast, which is also a Winter House podcast. And we have One Season Wonders. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Vanderpasta. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our fun pre-shows where Meredith and I and sometimes Sarah talk about whatever the hell we want because it's our show and we can do that. Also, you'll get access to any episodes we record early, specifically this one. I usually say including this one, but this one will specifically not be released to the public for a very long time. So it was on Patreon first for a while.
Well, I mean, all of this season.
Yeah, but I'm switching it up now.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Let me
Learning some
live
new
my
words.
life. I'm not as depressed, so I'm
She's not
switching things up.
scripted. Don't worry.
If you were wondering, no,
No,
this isn't a scripted show.
she goes off the rails at any time.
For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we go back and watch old seasons like this one, we'll do an after show where we talk about current Bravo news as to not give away spoilers on the podcast. Also, we'll say your name on the podcast. So thank you to Chris, Darby, Dee, Gabriella, Jackie, Jamie, Kirsten, Casey, Kelsey, Chrissy, Lauren, Nicole, Sarah L, Sarah R, Tierney, Jeanette, Tracy, Allison, Emily, Gina, Isabella, Jennifer, Leanne, Lisa, Rio, Robin, Taylor, and Tara.
Woohoo!
Did it.
Thanks for joining us on this wild ride.
No regrets, am I right? Um, and then for $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we do live seasons, which is literally always, I will post in the Patreon, ask for your questions, comments, opinions, concerns, whatever you want to say, and we'll read it on the podcast. Also, we'll pick a patron of the episode. So I have a patron of the episode because, of course, I was trying to pick everyone for each episode and I missed someone and I feel so bad. So this entire season, specifically the reunions, are all dedicated to her because she deserves it. And I'm a terrible person. And even Meredith is staring at me like I'm the worst. But I thought I kept a tally, but I
I
deleted the tally when I thought I got everyone. So,
I love that you now know that you missed someone. So I love that you're rectifying the situation.
well, she pointed it out. So
Oh,
she was hurt by it because
oh,
her comment said I knew I'd be forgotten. And
oh no. Wait, not all of them
I,
have been posted though on Patreon. We're a few behind anyways
well,
by the time we're recording this.
I just to be sure, because I
You
have
know
a
what? You're so
feeling
right. Who is it?
it's Kelsey.
Kelsey. You deserve
Just
two if you get two, but you deserve one at the
but
bottom of the barrel.
it's the last reunion because this whole season is dedicated to you and you deserve it and I'm a terrible person and as someone who's usually forgotten I feel very bad. I apologize deeply. I as soon as I saw your comment come through on the Patreon, I went, "Oh
Oof.
no." And then it haunted me for days because I'm pretty sure you sent yep 2 days ago. So this has been haunting me for 2 whole days. Um and it's all I think about. It's my new Roman
Well,
Empire.
I mean, listen, that is a win in itself. Is you may have been forgotten on an hour episode, but you've been on Alicia's brain for
You
48
will literally
hours.
never be forgotten again. You live in my brain rent free.
I love,
So
I love. So move in, welcome to your new humble abode in Alicia's brain.
please marry me. Anyway, no one will compare to you. So, first proposal on the
Woohoo!
podcast. Hopefully not the last. Anyway, so should we get into the episode?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Great. So tonight's conclusion was mid, if you ask me, but we get some
I
arguments.
I'm disappointed.
I only want to talk about when Shay comes
Me
out,
too.
but we
Good,
have to
good.
get there. Great.
Classic. We're on the same page.
We'll rush through the rest. James and Kristen go at it. We talk about the bachelorette party. Mike Shay shows up. He hates Lisa. Tell me I'm wrong. We talk about Scheana and her new boyfriend, and Shay is still technically married. So I can't wait to see how this ends up. Anyway, Stassi's still very single. She kissed Peter. We all love Peter. She said her and Peter kissed really well together, but watching that kiss, it wasn't a hot kiss to watch.
Hey,
So
this isn't really a spoiler, but has something to do with the entirety of the show of Vanderpump Rules. Did you know that Peter does have a uh has an episodic like rate that if he's shown on the episode, he has like the highest because he's shown so few times that if he is shown, he gets like a huge payout.
why?
I saw that on TikTok this week. I won't tell you why because the why is a spoiler, but
Oh.
something to do with the last live season. Like the
Oh my God.
person he
Well,
was involved with slightly.
immediately you need to
Yeah,
text me
I'll give you more
why, but
details, not on this recording, but just for spoiler free stuff.
now we know why Peter's never in an episode. So
But why he like I don't think this is really a major spoiler, but he's always on the series, so he's like around, but
yeah.
not really like main. He's not a cast member really, but he does get paid for being on the show.
Damn, Peter's getting the most out of all of us. He deserves it too. He's hot. Anyway,
He has a very high rate, the person said, and I was like, he deserves
he
it.
deserves it. He's putting up with this bullshit. He deserves it.
Yes. Yeah, so good for him.
I love him. Okay, in New Orleans, this is all basically New Orleans stuff. We had the joint bachelorette party. Brittany got bird fed by Jax, which was
Oh my
gross
God.
to watch the second time.
I'm glad she said that she didn't remember it and they
Same.
do not do that normally. Like, thank
Same.
you. I needed that.
Thank you. Katie said her and Schwartz were fighting because of Sandoval and Ariana. Remember, she texted them.
Ugh.
Katie says they would just fight about the dynamics of the group and she really wanted harmony. She wasn't trying to be rude. And I hate when people say, I wasn't trying to be rude, but you were extraordinarily rude. Like you
That's
didn't
the
even
thing.
borderline rude. It was like, yeah.
When someone doesn't realize like something like the tone that they said it was rude, like they weren't trying to do that. Okay, sure, but you sought them out to send a mean text message. You knew you were being rude.
You like, oh, I wasn't trying to be offensive, but you were. Oh, I wasn't trying to be rude, but you were.
Yeah, but if like somebody overheard you, if Tom and Ariana overheard Katie being frustrated with Tom and
Then
like
fine.
then that, yeah, but like you sought them out
Yeah.
to basically blame them for you and Tom fighting. Like
Yeah.
nobody is at fault for you and Tom fighting.
So Sandoval says he wasn't trying to tell Katie what to do in her relationship, just saying that Katie should talk to someone who isn't biased, like a counselor. And Katie said, no offense, but I don't take relationship advice from anyone in this room but Lisa. And I was like, no, it's clear you take zero advice on your relationship. Tis
From
a mess.
anyone, including Lisa,
Yeah.
like barely Lisa, let's be honest. But Tom, that was not outrageous advice. And this reminds me how much we shamed therapy
Yeah.
back in the day. I have gone to therapy for so long, but I did not tell anyone.
Yeah. Because why would you?
Because, yeah, like people were so mean about it. And like, I know present day Katie's in a different place. So, like, I'm happy about like her, like, about therapy. But like, the way it was shamed on this show, just in that
Terrible.
comment, I was like, that's not him trying to give you quote unquote advice on how to deal with things. That is saying, like, you need to work through things and here's an avenue to do that.
Yeah, you can't turn to your friends about certain things because they are biased. And these are things that
Yeah.
are like so beyond your friends trying to help you. Like this is really deep shit that like you have
Well,
to
I've
dig to
recently
the
learned that
bottom.
like you really shouldn't be dumping a lot on other people because like that does affect their own like
Yeah.
relationship with, you know, the other party that you're in a fight with or struggling with.
Well,
And
even with you.
yeah, like yeah, it's a lot. I'm someone who takes on a lot of people's like emotional, I'll call it dumping, and it weighs on me a lot. And so
Yeah.
it's like, how do you walk that back? You don't want to like be mean to someone, but
Agreed.
this made me sad. I really thought Katie, this was like good advice too, and like not shaming. Like I don't think Tom said it in any negative way, and he said it about both of them. It was just like I feel like it came from his heart, and so it made me sad that Katie can't
Yeah.
receive advice just because it's from Tom.
Agreed. Okay, so Jax broke down when he was talking to Stassi and he apologized to her. Stassi says it meant more than people think because it wasn't just the cheating, it like trickled down into her friendships, which is true because the
Yeah.
Kristen thing and then like she
Well,
felt
even
shady and
when remember when Tom or not Tom, first season, Stassi and Jax break up, and everybody believed Jax. Nobody believed
Everyone,
Stassi.
yeah, everyone believed Jax. It was just like a mess for Stassi.
Mm-hmm.
And though Jax apologized to Stassi, he's never apologized to Brittany. And Brittany says what hurts most is that Jax never admits that he does anything wrong, and he has a ton of emotion towards Stassi. And she cried to Scheana right after, and she just wants the same part of or kind of apology. But Jax says since he started dating Brittany, he's actually become a better person who can apologize. But I guess just not to Brittany.
Yeah, it sounds like Brittany doesn't get any of the work she's putting in,
No.
but I, it is hard because I do think he owes Stassi that apology. Like,
It's taken him years to apologize to her.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like Stassi deserves it, and I feel like it kind of like Brittany's frustration kind of negates or makes Jax rescind his apology weirdly. And I'm like, why can't we let the apology stand for what it
I
is?
didn't get that. I think it's just she wants that also. But the
Yeah.
truth is, like, though he does need to give Brittany an apology. There was just something so huge about what he's done to Stassi over the years
Yeah.
that like she shouldn't be jealous that Stassi's finally getting an apology for the absolute shit Jax has put her through years later. Like
Yeah.
it's like comparing apples to oranges. I just think like it's
Especially
not.
like in the moment, it bothers me. Like this discussion, it doesn't bother me that they're talking about. It's like, why did she have to make that moment about her not getting an apology for like whatever Jax did like 2 hours ago?
I don't
Like
know.
deal with him in those
In the
moments or like when
moment.
you're at home. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It bothered me.
Is it bad? I was just bored. I didn't even care. I was like, Brittany, then break up.
No,
I don't care.
no. These two, I can't.
So Schwartz was very drunk the whole time in New Orleans. He was
Oof.
on the verge of blacking out the whole trip, which means he was browned out. He also only slept for 2 hours every night, but he's a good, happy drinker. I was like, no one's this good a drinker, but sure
Okay,
not you.
I think typically he is a good happy drinker, but when you add in the constant being drunk and the 2 hours of sleep,
You're not.
you're raw on all your like emotions and like your fuse is short for anyone.
Jax didn't think, so Jax had said that stuff with Schwartz. He kept being like, break off the wedding, don't do it. And
Mm-hmm.
he explains that he didn't think there was no hope for Schwartz and Katie, but Jax has never seen Schwartz that upset and lost. And it was getting to a point of like, you're hurting yourself, like being in this relationship. And that's coming from Jax. So
Well,
must
I
have been
mean,
bad.
to be honest, like the one thing Jax does well is he doesn't stay in bad
He
relationships for
doesn't
that
commit.
long.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
like
way.
he would never propose to the people he was in such toxic
No,
relationships with. That's
never.
the only positive thing about
Yeah,
Jax.
go Jax.
Um, but yeah, I mean, they were in such a bad place. Like Jax's advice was spot on.
Yeah. Okay, the groomsmen got really emotional too at the Gator tour or whatever. Ariana says she understands that men have these moments, but at the Gator tour of all places,
Yeah.
um, also Katie had some thoughts while watching this. She said it was bizarre because she thought these people were her friends too, but it came across as very like poor Schwartz. And Jack said he said push back the wedding. He didn't say break it off. And he just said it takes two to tango. And I think both of you are going through bad stuff. And Sandoval says he witnessed months of Katie and Schwartz arguing, and then Katie's friends going up to Schwartz and being like, this is what you need to do to make it better with Katie. Just give her a hug, just apologize. And not once did any of her friends tell Katie she needed to do something towards
Yeah.
Schwartz. It's just a bunch of Katie's friends licking her asshole, basically, it was true. No one was ever like, except that one time at the pool when Stassi finally was like, Katie, stop being mad. But like, no one ever held Katie like half accountable for these arguments.
No. And so the one time, like Katie's friends always take Katie's side, and they're also friends with Schwartz. So it is so, I'm dumbfounded. Well, I'm not. It's Katie. Like Katie takes everything so personal, but she
Yep.
doesn't see how hypocritical it is because Katie's friends get to take her side. Like, why can't Schwartz friends, especially when they're in front of him, talk to him directly about his relationship without having to like consider you?
Also, I felt like Katie's friends were very like Schwartz needs to grow up and Schwartz needs to do this, whereas Schwartz's
Mm-hmm.
friends were more like, dude, maybe this just isn't it. Like they
Yeah.
were talking, I felt more like okay, so Katie sucks. Like, then break up. Like, they were
Yeah.
literally trying to
And
be like,
they weren't
separate.
like ragging on Katie. They were just saying like, if this is a problem with you and Katie, if you and Katie are
Yes.
fighting this much, like talking about the facts
At
and
least,
not trying to put Katie down in all the conversations. Whereas the entire Bachelor Bachelorette, it seemed like, well, not the entire, but like once the fight started, it seems like all they were doing was being like, fuck Schwartz, you're a problem, da 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 da
well,
da.
listen, I also think fuck Schwartz, he's the
No,
problem.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, it
But like
was just,
Katie has issues too.
I would just like to say no one, not a friend, not a Katie, not a Schwartz, none of them were right during this whole fucking
Mm-mm.
summer.
Well, I
Terrible.
think Ariana was.
Ariana was busy. She was not involved.
Ariana and I love Shay just being like, nope.
Shay and Ariana, unproblematic royalty. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So then we had drag night, which was a huge success. Schwartz was just curious to see what it would be like. Sandoval got voted prettiest drag queen. Jax was ugliest. And Andy really liked Jordan Tyler, which
Mm-hmm.
James got a lot of tweets saying Jordan Tyler is giving James Kennedy
I
vibes.
I can't believe I didn't make that
That
connection during
was
that
so
episode.
good. That was so good.
And this is the height of when Twitter was at its best.
Yeah, this was great. This was hilarious. Um, Kristen then decides to sit Schwartz down and accuse him of
Oh my
sleeping with
God.
the Vegas girl. And Schwartz says that was in really bad taste. And Kristen says, but I forced you guys to talk about it, so you're welcome.
What did you think about that comment? She was basically like, I'm the
You're
hero
welcome.
here.
I am.
I got you guys to the wedding. And I'm
Listen,
like, no.
it wasn't definite poor taste. Terrible timing. He's in a dress and a wig. Let this man just live. But she did make them talk about it.
Oh my
I think
God.
she saved nothing, but she did make them talk about it.
Yes, she if anything, she almost pushed them to not have this wedding.
Yeah, she almost broke them the fuck. I don't think we can say if Kristen did or did not help the wedding, but I think we can say without certainty she made this the topic of conversation
True.
first.
The Delulu in her head is so strong.
Woof. I wish I was Kristen. Yeah, she lives in ignorant bliss, this bitch. So then Katie says, it didn't have to be though in the hallway. And Kristen's like, it wasn't. It was actually on the patio. And I was like, until he left and you chased him. And then it turned out in the
Yes.
middle of the hallway.
She's like, I didn't do anything wrong. I told him in private. And Sandoval's like, you literally chased them into the elevator.
Sandoval's like, you were chasing him, and Schwartz then was reacting. So anyway, Stassi then heard the yelling from the hallway. She's like, yeah, I saw two dudes dressed up arguing about who looked like Sia.
Honestly, one of my favorite things about that fight is her sitting in the hallway, like
Poking
trying to
out.
hide, but trying to see. It's like you want to see, but you don't want to be caught. And like, how much is either of those gonna tip the scale?
I have to say, rewatching it, my favorite was when Carter says, and you grew up to be fucking Sia or whatever. And that's when Schwartz is like, oh my God. And he like walks away like he just got dissed to the nines. And then Sandoval's like, oh, he came out to play. Like Carter just completely destroyed them with one bar. Like those two were, oh, he wants to bring out the big guns and say, I look like Sia, huh? Like that, rewatching it, it was so funny to me how like
oh my
dissed
God.
they are. Anyway, Schwartz then he was having so much fun. Then he was calling Katie a bitch, and then he didn't want to get married, and then he's pooping in a dress, which I guess he was on the toilet. He doesn't look like the toilet.
When they do the flashback, because it's like kind of grayed out, it looks more like the bathroom, so I can't tell. I swear to God, in the actual episode, he's sitting on a bed, and we both said he's on a bed, but in the flashbacks, it always looks like a bathroom.
I will never know, but he says he was pooping.
I know.
I don't know.
I was like, is this the Mandela effect?
I don't know.
Is it actively happening in front of us?
I refuse to pick a side right now. I don't know what's right.
I'm good with either. I just need to know which one.
I just need to know the truth.
So I can stop telling the story as if he's on a toilet when he's not.
Agreed. Okay, but that didn't ruin Schwartz's party. Schwartz says calling Katie a bitch was very terrible timing. It was bad. And then Kristen says Schwartz never acknowledged that Katie was hurt about the whole Vegas thing. And Katie says that Schwartz didn't realize the magnitude of what she felt. And Schwartz says Katie doesn't understand the magnitude of what he feels when she blows up at him all the time. So we're deflecting.
Oh my God, 1,000%. Because guess what? To both of you, you both have to let the other person know what your feelings are because they can't read your mind.
Just ideas. Also,
I mean, don't worry, I just learned this concept literally last week.
You actually don't know if Katie and Schwartz can read minds for a fact.
That is true.
You actually don't.
To the lay people like myself,
probably not.
I learned that this week.
Just an idea, probably not. Katie says, yeah, Schwartz says he felt bad and she was trying to move on, but she still felt empty about it. But as I say, I don't think there's any recovering for cheating because you break the trust and that's so hard to get back. And I say, but if you're going to forgive, you have to fully forgive. You can't do this whole but I'm still angry about it. I'm on your side, Katie. I'm on your side.
You have to have a really deep, raw discussion, time, healing. It'll take time to heal from it. But once you do the work on it, you've got to truly move.
You have to let it go. Start. And Katie, I'm on your side. I think he's a piece of shit for cheating on you. But if you say I'm gonna fully forgive and stay with this man, you got to stop being mad about it. You can't keep bringing it up. You can't
brush it under the rug and pull it out.
And if he doesn't want to give you the time to get over it and the conversations it'll take, then you cannot move on. There's no
That's the thing.
way.
Then he's not willing to put in the work to rebuild that trust. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to, and it would break me. I understand why people have such a hard time moving on, after cheating, to a new person because you loved this person so much. It's so hard to let go of that. Yeah. But you got to put yourself first.
Agreed. I would never be able to move on. Never. Okay, so Katie says she has been cheated on in the past and Schwartz inherited all her past insecurities, which this is a whole nother thing to unpack, which we're not going to because I don't
want to get into this because I hate those types of discussions.
But that already not great for us. Anyway, Lisa sticks up for Schwartz because how Kristen brought this up was just shameful.
They all start yelling at each other too.
I have no idea what's happening half the time.
Oh my God. Even Lisa is yelling in the 7 people yelling. And I was like, whoa, Lisa.
Well, I love that she's Schwartz is a cheater, but Kristen didn't have to bring it up like that.
Her hate for Kristen is greater than her hate of Schwartz cheating on Katie.
It just overpowers everything. Yeah. Jax, though, he says it happened, and then Lisa's like, "Oh, then it must be true, right?" And she hates Kristen so much. She believes nothing
that comes out of Jax's mouth.
Schwartz says he was really drunk. He doesn't remember, but he can say he didn't have sex because he was so drunk. Hate this. And he cannot unpack that either.
Oh, no. It's the fact that he says, I know with 100%, I'm pretty sure with 100% certainty. I'm like, you can't say I'm pretty sure with 100% certainty.
Yeah, you're the worst. So originally, which was even worse, he told Katie nothing happened and then later said a makeout happened. So now Katie is suspicious, which I also agree. How dare you fucking lie from the beginning?
Well, I think because he doesn't know anything, to be honest, you not knowing at all what happened in your night concerns me more than you just being like, I know I slept with her and I immediately
regret it or whatever.
Regretted it and started sobbing and whatever. The fact that you have no idea what happens concerns me way more. That's a behavior you are willing to get so drunk and not be in control of your life. That makes me feel like I can't trust you and cannot trust you in this moment, in the past, moving forward. That's what would get me to break up with him.
Okay, so then Katie understands that the act happened, but she doubts and she has insecurities there still. And Lisa's like, God, what a terrible fucking party you guys had. This is why I didn't want to be part of your fucking wedding. And then we talk about that, how Lisa was the first and only choice to officiate the wedding. And Lisa's like, no, yeah, love them so much. But they're a disaster. Katie and Schwartz knew that they wanted to be together, but they had trouble finding their way back to that happy place. And they said they see a difference within themselves once Lisa confronted them. And this is when Ariana's like, I knew they would make it happen. I love them. And I was like, she hates them. Are you
I was
kidding
like,
me?
you're lying.
Bitch, stop lying.
Stop.
Clock.
You don't have to be so outward with these lies.
No,
Like,
we
you didn't need to
know.
comment at all on
We
this.
know you hate them.
Yeah.
Okay, who's the next couple to get engaged? Could it be Kristen and Carter? Could it
Oh
be Jax and
God.
Brittany? Could it be James and Raquel? Could it be Ariana and Sandoval?
It
Could it
definitely
be
won't be
Stassi and
Stassi.
Peter? Who knows? Could it be Andy? We don't know. Kristen though thinks she might be able to trick Carter into a ring. So
Nothing screams success like I'm gonna trick somebody into proposing to me.
honestly, when Kristen said that, I went my votes for Kristen. Like immediately, I was like, yeah, she's gonna
No, I
drug
believe
him.
she'll be the next one engaged, but I think it'll follow the same pattern of this Schwartz and Katie relationship of pure chaos.
I think Carter will wake up from the drunk night and go, I didn't mean to propose to you. Give me the ring back.
Oh my God, that is such a good idea. Is to like somehow con like his mom into like giving him like the family ring. Cause let's be honest, no boy will like go buy a ring if they don't want to propose.
Yeah.
And then you like find it and then you get him hammered and then you put it on your like finger and you guys both wake up and pretend you had no
You're
idea.
like,
And you're like,
oh
oh my God, I'm
my
so
God, look at the
happy.
ring.
Yay. Wow, that's
Uh,
terrifying. Nobody do that, please.
just
Don't do that.
ideas on the pod.
But why do I just want to do it for the bit?
Yeah, let me know what happens. Do a TikTok so I can watch. Okay, Lisa hated the Taco Tuesday wedding dinner, but that's who the bubbas are, you know? Schwartz also didn't shower the day of the wedding.
Oh my God.
Gross. Andy got really choked up when the triplets walked in, as we all did. The brothers
Mhm.
still talk about how amazing it was. That's really cute.
That doesn't shock me.
It's
This
cute.
is going to be such a mean comment, but like, what else big has happened in their life
Oh my
since?
God, Meredith, they might be in Europe right now for all you know.
Oh, yeah, they couldn't fly to California. They couldn't even make their flight to California. You think they're making like multiple flights
You
on a
don't
trip to
know
Europe?
who they grew up to be.
That experience really, progressed them, and now they can
They're like,
get
we
after
love to
Europe.
travel. We're actually going to Orlando now.
I'm dying.
I'm hilarious. Anyway,
Oh, that was
so
good.
wedding dress didn't fit Katie, but she didn't lose her cool. She said the night of the rehearsal dinner, she was so high, but the day of her wedding, she was sober. I think there was still some gummy running around her bloodstream because she was calm as can be, this bitch.
But I do believe like she really wanted to be present, so she just would
I
not really
agree.
take any anxiety bait, which that's a thing she can take into her real life is like, don't just like her fuse needs to get a little longer.
Just a little bit.
Just roll it all out.
Everyone was most emotional during Tom's vows. They were like, okay, the Bubbas are never romantic, so it was very beautiful for everyone else to see.
Maybe that's why it was like it hit
It
everybody
hit
so
hard. I
hard.
mean, it hit me hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sandoval cried into a dog. Even Jess got emotional. Then Sandoval basically proposed to Ariana at a wedding or at the wedding.
Ew.
Um, Sandoval says he was just so moved by the love in the air and he has so many feelings. And Ariana feels really bad in moments like these because she's overwhelmed by how much she loves Tom. But when she says things or when he says things like that, she retreats into her little shell and she
Mm-hmm.
like couldn't give Sandoval the moment she thinks he deserved. I
Yeah.
think this is tacky to do at a person's wedding, and you know your girlfriend doesn't really want to get married. How else is she gonna act?
And there's a fucking camera in her face. Like three weird moments all summed into one.
Yeah.
And she is like she can reflect and be like, oh, I want to give him a better answer, where he is not like, oh, I wish I didn't ask.
Yeah. No, he's like, I'm happy. Those were my feelings. And she's
I
like,
was
okay.
who brought up the like, oh, just go sign the paper.
Oh, so Katie said you could do a ceremony instead of doing like a legal document, so it's not
Yes.
binding. And Ariana said she would actually rather do a legal document than a ceremony.
That shocked me.
That shocked me too, because she wanted to have a party. Remember, she was telling Scheana at the wedding, she's like, I want to have a
Hmm.
party like this. Also, you'd rather have the legal document? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe she just
That's
doesn't
what
want to be like the center of the attention and like
Yeah.
do
The
vows.
planning, the money that goes into
Yeah.
it. For me, I thought it was the like officialness and being like truly tied to someone. That was not, but I guess I'm wrong.
I did too. I guess I don't understand fully what her reservations about marriage are. Not
Mhm.
that she needs to explain herself to me, obviously. If you don't want to get married, don't get married. Totally fine.
Yeah. They're just opposite. That comment was opposite of what
Yes,
I
of what
thought it
I thought.
was.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Okay, so now we get to talk about James's DJ performance, which truthfully I forgot happened this season, but now that I know it
Oh,
did,
I know. Well,
fuck these
like
people.
back half of the season, he really wasn't in it
I
much.
know. Okay, so Andy asks Kristen if she could look James in the eye and say she had good intentions with going to his performance. And Kristen says, hell
Okay,
no.
at least she's honest. At least she's honest. Everybody else like faked why they were there. Like it was, come on, like let's be honest, we were there to destroy his life.
We were there to be rude. And also, Lisa saw the footage. She feels bad for James because he had been let go from Sir. He had this thing going, and they all wanted to ruin his moment. And
Yeah.
Kristen's like, I'm not sorry because James put me through a lot. And I was like, get over it. You're in a different relationship and
Well,
you're 1,000 years older. No, that was mean. You're like 7 years older.
she also acts like she did nothing in their relationship. I bet she was not the perfect girlfriend.
I
So
mean,
like
she punched him in the face.
I mean, he did deserve that one.
He
I will give her
deserved
that
it.
one.
But
But
that's
like
the thing
close
is
the book.
he did something shitty. She punched him in the face.
Yeah.
That we're negated on that,
He
like
is
it's
not
done.
actively doing shitty things to her. Like
Yeah.
I feel like he only says mean things to, even to her, like as a response.
To her being shitty. Jack says he was happy when James got thrown out. He was a big part of that whole fight that
Mm-hmm.
happened. James calls them haters, and Kristen comes in and starts arguing with James, and James gets mad and tells her to shut up. And Kristen goes, "There's the vodka soda from lunch." And
Uh,
he had a whole vodka soda, one
he
whole
sh
vodka soda.
he shouldn't have, but also why? Because he yelled at you? Like, oh wow, he's drunk.
I would yell at you too, sober.
Everybody
So
is yelling here at this
calm
reunion.
down.
Literally 5 minutes ago, even Lisa was part of the yelling.
Yeah. So time for the good shit. Mike Shea is
Okay,
coming.
let's do it. I'm
He's going to
ready.
join us. Scheana hasn't seen him in 4 months and doesn't even know his phone number because he wouldn't pay his phone bill.
That's so bad.
I know. Also, I would again like to preface with we know this is a very serious thing. I again found this fucking hilarious. So
It's just
let's talk about it.
it's a soap opera of
Yeah,
sorts.
it's amazing. So Scheana says she's it was definitely for the best to get divorced, but she doesn't want to see him. She starts crying because she just wants to be in her happy place. She's too sober for this. Sheena's really bad at like confrontation of any sorts.
I think she's also bad at being sad on camera.
Yeah, she still wants to be like, I just want to be in my happy place that I'm in now. And it's like, bitch, you don't have a happy place. I
What
never believe it anymore.
I think okay, maybe this is it. I've never like fully thought through this. Maybe I think she has a really hard time being authentic in front of the camera.
Yes.
I think with
Agreed.
her friends, she probably does let her guard down, and there's like some people she shares things with, but she is so conscious of when she is on camera that like you can feel it in her.
Yeah, I felt it. Okay, behind the stage, Shay is getting ready. Sheena's freaking out, and the girls say they have her back. And then she turns and sees Shay is sitting in his seat next to Lisa and goes, he got a haircut. And I was like, bitch, he looks the same.
I mean,
Anyway,
oh my God, that's what like really like we who cares?
he looks the same. Anyway, so we're back. Hi, Shay. Where are you living? Shay's living at his parents because they're not officially divorced. Well, not because, but also they're not officially divorced because in California it takes 6 to 8 months. Also, this whole time, Shay and Scheana are like talking to each other, but sometimes they're not talking to each other.
Yes.
It like gets awkward, but then they start talking to each other and then they stop doing it, even though they're still talking to each other. It seems like they're talking to
Their
other people.
words
It's weird.
their words are directed at each other, but they're like not always looking at each other. They're like looking off into the distance, and it's
Specifically
so
Scheana.
awkward.
Scheana's always like, okay, so Andy had asked, this is why I'm thinking of this, and was like, oh, are you like divorced? And she's like, well, not technically. And Scheana, though it seems like she's talking to Andy and Shay, is like facing the other direction. It was like, it actually takes 6 to 8 months in California. And it's like, Bitch, if you didn't want to see him, don't talk while Andy is asking him fucking questions, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just wallflower it.
It's
Anyway.
weird.
So Scheana kept saying all season that Shay was in the studio, but he was actually sleeping at the studio. And Scheana says she didn't know the extreme this would go to, but she wasn't going to let her issues come out on Katie's summer. And I was like,
No,
that's sad that Katie took a whole summer and this was happening to you.
That is such a lie, though. Even if Katie was not getting married this summer, Scheana never would have been real about this.
That's true. That's
like,
also true.
That's the thing is like, cut the bull. We already know so much of this. Cut the bullshit about the bullshit.
I agree. Just cut the bullshit. Scheana and Shay now argue about coming home and texting and what was happening. I truthfully didn't even care about this. I wanted to get to what the fuck Shay has been doing in this studio.
Because they're still talking in code. Like, they won't just anything that they mention in this whole segment.
Yeah,
they like half mention.
Yeah, I feel like we still don't get the whole story.
No,
like, you know when you leave a reunion and you're like, oh, that was settled in my mind. But then other times you're like, there's still one side, the other side, and the truth somewhere in the middle.
But, like, there weren't enough details either edited in or
like,
I don't speak about it. Yeah,
I don't believe either of them.
But I don't know what's going on. They are actually worse than most reunions because at least sometimes you get like some stuff aired. This is all just like nonsense talking about this divorce.
And we go from like one problem to the next and we never solve it gets weird. Anyway, Scheana and Shay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Shay says Scheana is calculating and crazy. And Shay denies that he was on pills, even though Scheana says that Shay took out $600 cash and bought 50 pills.
Okay.
And I went,
this we got facts on and I loved this.
Well, I went $12 a pill. Damn.
I mean, I don't know what the going rate is for stuff like this.
At first it sounded like a lot, but $12 a pill sounds about right. Not that I'm a druggie, but I was
just say our drug expert on the podcast.
Listen.
She's like, here's my chart on how I buy drugs off the street.
I've dabbled in party drugs, not recently, but also when she puts it as 600 for 50 pills, I was like, whoa, that's a lot of money. But $12 a pill, and
that wasn't that crazy to me.
That's not crazy. Also, though, we still don't have facts because Shay said he didn't do this and Scheana didn't bring us proof.
That's true, but you know that Shay's lying about that.
I don't think so, only because later he gets really upset that his reputation on TV was she lied about that. Like, he kept saying, like, you kept saying, and I've worked really hard to be sober. So that was the only part I was like, he wouldn't say that if he wasn't working really hard to be sober, right?
Well, I think he's working hard to like fix his reputation. So this being on camera, whether it's true or not, will upset him in both regards. Like, why are we putting so much detail about this?
Maybe I took that differently then.
I think this one is true because she said that this is kind of how she caught him.
I think he took $600. Now, if he bought 50 pills, that's where I'm like, I don't know.
I think he did because he was like, I spent that on my business. And it's like, why'd you take out $600 of cash? Why are we taking out cash? Where's your debit and credit card?
Give him a debit card, or Scheana just give him a debit card. I don't know. Again, I have zero opinion.
I'm taking this as that piece was true, but I do feel for him on the later stuff.
As it was half true. I don't know if he bought pills. Not that it mattered. Literally, none of this matters. So, but you're right. Shay doesn't deny. He just does that thing where he's like, oh my God, dude. I can't believe, he doesn't
That's the thing.
deny.
Their like deflections are also annoying. Like, I actually appreciate the way Tom and Katie fight because it's entertaining at least.
Right there. Yeah. So Shay says he was putting the money towards his business. And they're like, what money? And he goes, Scheana's money. She always held that over my head.
Which that makes me sad because I do believe that.
I believe that. Also, though, Scheana, here's the thing. I don't feel bad that Scheana and him have this joint account. She should have separated them. She should have done the prenup. I don't totally.
If I ever get married, I will have 2 separate checking accounts and we will have one together where we deposit an equitable amount for household things. Yes. But that's it. My spending money is my spending money. And if you're going to start a business, honestly, I may choose to give you some money for that. But like, it's separate. Like,
and honestly, reality TV made me this way. And also,
mine didn't. My parents operate their marriage like this, and I love it because
my parents don't.
my mom is the breadwinner in our family, so like she gets to spend her money how she wants to.
Hell yeah. My what else was I gonna say though? Oh, but also best believe if I'm poor and you're rich and we have a joint account with no prenup,
It's our
I'm taking out
money.
$600 in cash too, baby.
That's yeah,
I
that's
don't
you know
fault
what,
Shay.
Alicia, that's it because she when we talked about the prenup section, she was like, I would
I would
never. Well,
never.
what's mine is yours, honey. Like
Bitch.
you did this to yourself.
I don't know why I'm so like pro Shay, but I'm like, take
It's
the money, bitch, and run.
but it's how she talks about it even at this
Yeah,
reunion. Like she gives this air of like it's I would have never, and that's fine, but like these are the consequences. And so
yeah.
like you can't like whine about it now.
Agreed. So then we talk about Shay not coming home for a week. I thought it was only a few days, but again, what do I know?
I don't understand the timeline of him like quote unquote sleeping at the studio, also him
Yeah.
sleeping at his parents' house. They go between saying like 5 to a week, and I'm like, those are different amounts of dates.
It's
Those
like
are.
I care, but it doesn't matter. So
Well, I'm like,
Shay
just tell
said,
me one amount of
just
dates.
give me the full
Are we talking
story.
about a work week? Because that's 5 days.
Was he there on a weekend? Because that's crazy. Okay, so Shay says it was done for a while, like the marriage, and something just clicked. Brittany says she knows heartbroken. Shay didn't communicate how he was feeling because Scheana never listens, and Sheena's like, "You're not around for me to listen to," and I was like, "Bitch, you're not
Mm,
listening." Like you're not listening to this clown. You're not gonna listen to him. Come on.
no, you don't
Uh,
listen to him, and I'm okay with it.
I think I'm anti both of them because I know Shay's a clown and he's not gonna win
But
this divorce, but I'm rooting for him, even
but
though I
here's the
know he's
thing. I feel
lost.
like Shay's clown behavior is spoken about already on the
We already
episodes.
know,
Yeah,
yeah.
and so I'm like, I need to like expose
What's going on
Scheana.
with Scheana?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah. And
yeah,
you know, I'm gonna be honest here, we never see Shay again. So like
never.
we will always comment on Scheana, you know, so she's the
Yeah,
cast member, so like that's my priority on this.
that's why I don't care what Shay's doing, but every time Scheana does
No.
something, I'm like, you're not gonna listen to him. So Andy does say he said, Shay has said that you don't listen, Scheana. And then Lisa comes in and is like, Scheana would always talk really highly about Shay
Oh, I
and
hated this.
she worshipped you. And Shay's like, first of all, don't care. Second of all, I also did that. And I was like, yeah, we just didn't see Shay do like because he's not on the show. And he doesn't
I
talk to Lisa. And also Sheena's bullshitting. Now we know
yes.
that.
I don't like Lisa trying to interject like she's
I
a
don't
mom
either.
in this. Like I didn't like that like we talked about this on the finale. I said like how annoying for Shay to like get this like random person in his life like
Yeah.
giving him all this unsolicited advice and stuff like this. Like
He doesn't work for
Lisa,
you.
butt out. Like
Yeah.
this ain't the time. Like I know you really love Scheana and like do that with Scheana one on one, but like
But shut the fuck up.
especially because Shay's sitting right next to her, I would like want to deck her in the face if I
Same.
were him.
I'd be like, that's great, Lisa. Shut the fuck up. No, I wouldn't,
Yeah,
but
and
I
I
would be
don't
like,
think Shay is the worst husband, but I don't think he's a good husband
no,
or a great husband. I don't think he's any major positives, but I don't think he like is probably like terrible around the house and like
I
yelling
do,
at her.
I don't think Shay would be a great husband in general, but I
Hmm.
also don't think Sheena's the right person for him to be married to. I think there's a specific kind of person
True.
Shay could get married to and it could work well.
That yeah, but he's not like I can never see him like being a major like yeller,
Husbandy. Yeah.
like doing all these like negative
No.
toxic husband things you hear about. But I
No.
but
His
I
most
do think
toxic
Sheena would demean him a little
I think the most
bit.
toxic thing Shay does is take pills.
I think he's a drug addict and I don't think he comes home.
But here's the other thing, right? Let's say he is sober. I then think his like next most toxic thing he does is not want to leave the house because he's been around these terrible things.
His lack of conquering anything.
Yeah. The motivation is minimal. I would destroy Shay
He's
if I had to
that's
fucking date
actually,
him.
you
My
know,
God.
this is why I'm so hard on Sheena. Is Shay is basically air. He's like
Yeah,
nothing
he's
on
useless.
this show.
He's a sack of potatoes, and here's Scheana like he's the best husband. We have a spark, and all of us are like,
Mm,
no. And now she's like, he's evil, and we're like,
yeah.
again, no, he's
I'm
not
like,
anything.
you're going way too hard on both sides. Like, just give me the facts. But she
That's the
can't.
thing. Shay is like a zero. and Scheana's trying to argue that he's either plus 100 or negative 100. And it's like, no, he's neutral, bitch. We have zero opinions on this man. Besides that, I love that he eats chicken tenders and he loves a fan on him, you know?
I mean, I feel it.
I feel for him. So Kristen says she felt a change because Scheana was trying so hard in the relationship and it felt like Shay gave up. And Shay's like, bitch, again, we're not fucking friends.
Mm-hmm.
She did both. Also, why would Scheana say, "Oh, I'm a bad wife" to Shay? She would never tell you that.
Yeah, and that's
don't know
here's
what
the thing. Scheana's going so hard to prove during the season that he is incredible that she is never going to say any of the negatives on her behalf or on Shay's behalf during the season. So like Shay, I believe Shay that like she is one way to the group and one way to him. Like what that way is to him, I don't know, but that is a for sure a fact right there.
Yes. She is different. He even says that. He's like, she is one way with you and one way with me. Don't get it twisted. So what is Shay's business? Because no one knows.
The way you can't really answer this is why I believe he took the pills.
I still don't know what he does. He has a music group. They run out of a studio and he has 7 artists.
He said something before music group, and I don't know what those words were because I don't even think they're in the English language.
I don't know if he has a boy band or if he's like a producer. Like I don't
understand that either. Like, is he a part of the group? Is he a producer? Is he a behind the scenes person? But the way he was like, we're going on tour next week. I'm like, yeah, you are, boy. Yeah.
Rock out. Yeah, do your thing. This is again, see, we're rooting for Shay because he's nothing. He will never amount to anything. Yes. This man. Okay,
he stayed in this little zone, and that's all I care about.
Yeah. Are we surprised? Jax says, nope, not surprised about this divorce. Knew it in a second. They're both great people, but they're meant for different things, which I was like, Jax is on our level. Like, great people, fine. Terrible as a couple.
And that was a great political answer. Like, Jax is crushing it.
And then he talks about how God maybe put this relationship in front of them for them to overcome. And Brittany's like, he said, God, baby, we're there. He went to Christian
church once in the last 8 years. Yeah.
Ariana gets defensive of her best friend, obviously, and wants to hear from Shay, like what went wrong, because he just ghosts. And Shay said they grew apart. Their lifestyles are different. He had quit drinking for a year and he was still expected to go out with this group of people who he says he's like, they're not my group of people.
Yeah.
Which the whole season, I was like, no wonder Shay does not want to be on this fucking show.
This section, he did so well.
This was great. Do you know how fucking I thought about that? Do you know how miserable I'd be if I was like sober and I had to go hang out with my partner's friends all the time who were drunk? I'd be goddamn fucking miserable.
And on camera, like you don't want to be on this show. You don't want to be drinking. You don't want to be with this group. How miserable.
Miserable. Scheana tells Shay that he was okay with it. And Shay's like,
oh my God, I hated that response.
Remember when Scheana put her rules down?
Well, of course he's going to say he wants to go. Like, he's trying to be nice and polite. Well,
he also said at the end he wasn't okay with it, which I think is what we saw in the last season. But he says Scheana prioritized going out instead of staying in with him.
Yep.
And then Sheena's not listening. And he's like, no, you're not listening to me, which is hilarious.
She wanted him to get sober, but she wanted nothing about their life to change in order for it to support his sobriety.
Mm-hmm. Which, like, some people can be sober and party. Some people are not comfortable with that. And Shay, it feels like, especially because he's an addict, putting himself in that situation will lead to bad consequences.
Yeah. And
Scheana was sober by choice.
Her not expecting any changes to happen. Like, no. I mean, I am not sober, and B, I've never been with a partner who, like, is sober or has gone through the transition to try and be sober. Like, that would be so hard. I feel like you would have to completely remove yourself from life and like try to figure out what your new normal is, and then like reintroduce like social engagements, like and see what works. And it felt like Scheana always was like, you figured out it didn't work whenever he was figuring out. So she put on these rules and she has all these expectations out of what he will and won't do in his sobriety and socializing. And it's like, he's going to fail in some way. And like, you're not there to actually support him. You're just there to bark and be upset with him at any level of whatever he's doing.
Yeah, yeah, you said it great. So, when did the relationship go south? Scheana says 3 months after the marriage, because that's when she
I,
found out about the pills. And I was like, yeah, but again, you chose to stay in this relationship
yep,
and work through it with him.
yep.
Shay says only a year ago, so different times. Scheana said she can't get over the text she saw.
Which
And then I was like,
I'm like, what are
what
we talking
text?
about? Give
And
me real details. Stop being, if you're gonna throw Shay under the bus and ruin his reputation, you better drill him into the ground.
so she caught him texting another girl that he never met up with, but lived across the country. Shay says he met this person at work, and yeah, they sent inappropriate texts, but it was a
Ooh.
different kind of connection than with Scheana. And Scheana keeps messing with her hair and makeup because she's uncomfortable.
When do you
Rough.
think those texts happen? Because if Scheana says Scheana only said the 3 month post-wedding thing because of the pills. So like I'm so confused at when this text
Again,
message
she
incident.
then was like, we're going to move past it and stay in our. Then, you know what?
Then don't go on a camera and say everything's fucking perfect all summer.
Yeah, fucking Jesus. Okay, so was there more going on between them? Shay just had this sexting relationship with another woman.
Oh, just that casual little thing.
There were big issues. It built like the big issues, then built little issues along with it.
Mhm.
Shay was like, why not call me out in the beginning, with like texting this girl and doing
Yeah.
pills and shit. And Scheana said she had too much pride, which, yep.
Yep. That's true.
Shay is offended because he was sober and Scheana went on camera and told the world he wasn't. And
Oof.
this is when I believe him because Scheana says, yeah, because you hurt me, so I wanted to hurt you. And I was like,
Yeah.
damn, bitch. It is one thing to like sex someone. It's another thing to go on national television and call out someone sobriety. I don't know why that was so wild to
Well,
me.
he also says that like his family didn't like a lot of his family didn't know. Like
Yes.
you are putting him on blast to all these people. To me, it's like just below putting somebody's sexuality on blast.
Yeah, this was rough. This is where I really turned on fucking Scheana because not only that, but Scheana said at the time she had too much pride to have every Brandy follower tell Scheana that's what she gets. So
Gross.
she threw him under the bus
I
to save herself.
that was so
That was terrible.
insane.
I do not remember this. Like
I
I
don't
was
either.
shocked.
I think I remember her like I'll say putting his sobriety on blast when he was
I remember
sober,
that, but
but
how
at
bad it was?
at the like cost or because she didn't want to be put on blast on Twitter. I'm like, I know.
No, this was terrible. And then
That tells you she was never committed to this marriage and his
he's also
sobriety.
like, I didn't label you like the home wrecking whore, but you labeled me the druggie. Like you did that to
Hmm.
me, to your fucking husband. That is wild to me. Why? I will
I
never get
can't
over
believe
this.
he was sober when she did that. Like that, even if he was on, like again, you are choosing yourself over your marriage, your partner, like
I am
no matter
shocked
what state he was in. But the
still.
fact that he was sober and you did that
Yeah,
to
it's
him,
fucking so
like
stupid.
that's like the reverse trust thing. Like obviously, like Scheana had a hard time trusting Shay because of all of it, but how can he trust you?
Yeah, that was crazy. So Shane never would have brought up his addiction issues. He was forced to tell everyone, and now everyone's labeled him a
Hmm.
druggie. Yeah, this is where Sheena's like, well, I'm a home wrecking whore, so you get the labels. And he's like, bitch, I didn't give you this label. So this was rough for me to watch.
Hmm.
Anyway, Shay is like, this is a great example of how she treated me. And I was like, no, yeah, this
That's
is a
true.
great example.
Yep.
Scheana says she never would have divorced Shay. And Shay's like, no, I thought we were going to work through everything. But then when we were filming, you said divorce. And I was like, shit, we had no idea.
Wow. Yeah.
Blindsided. And Sheena's like, yeah. And you were taking pills. And I was like, shit, girl, stop talking about his sobriety. I'm
It's so
uncomfortable.
interesting when she'll actually be truth, like when she is actually lets the guard down, how vicious she is.
This is terrible.
Like
I'm
I believe Shay that she is like a whole
vicious.
different person.
Yeah. So Sheena has a new boyfriend. She's upset that he got a new boyfriend so quick. He's like, This part, okay, the way Scheana is like, you're lying, because Shay's like, I don't know who it is. And Sheena's like, yeah, you do. You follow him on Instagram. Like,
No, I think she was
dummy.
saying that because it's clearly somebody from like before Scheana and Shay. Like
Got
Scheana knew
together.
before, and it's like Shay, in a sense, was friendly with this person, knows this person as a friend.
Yes. But the way Scheana says it, it wasn't like yeah, you do. It was yeah, you do. It's like, of course you know who it is.
I
Like
don't
it
think it was
felt
a,
like,
of course you know who it is. I think it's you know who he is.
ooh,
Not
it
that you
was
know he's my
rough.
boyfriend. It's you already know him.
It was really rough. And then yeah,
Hmm.
that's when Shay's like, who? And she's like, Rob. And he goes, that's the guy. Shook. He is shook. Shay is shook to his core. I got uncomfy sitting on my couch. I was like, and you got shots of every other person in the cast, just like,
It's hard no matter like what goes down in like a marriage or a breakup to see somebody like heartbroken when their ex moves on. Like I feel for people when that happens.
but like in real time, what,
I
like
know.
imagine being fucking like Stassi, just being like, ooh, I don't
Yikes.
even care about this couple. And like, I'm
But this is
uncomfy.
brutal. Like everybody knows this
Jesus
feeling.
Christ.
Everybody can empathize with that feeling. So that's why I think the
Yeah.
reactions are shown because like we're all like, yikes.
Ugh. So, Shay deleted social media because he couldn't get over Scheana, which I think happens to a lot of us again. We like see our ex doing something and we like,
That was really
yeah,
smart because this was before you could mute people and like, I mean, I guess he
yeah.
could have blocked her, but still, she's a public figure. Like to see her everywhere.
This was also healthy, I think, of him to delete it.
Hmm.
Anyway, he says he's not seeing anyone because he's technically still married. And
That's such
Sheena's
a
like,
dig.
actually, it's just a piece of paper. And I was like, the two of you suck. Anyway,
Oh my
so
God.
Shay says he'll always love Scheana, but at this point, he's over their relationship and coming here was something he had to do, but he's glad he did it. Scheana says she found some closure or peace after hearing that. But she hears he's happy and she's in a happy place, so she's happy for him. What a terrible goodbye. Wow.
I
Both of you suck.
I want to be out of this marriage as much as Shay does.
And then this is when Schwartz is like, this is an incredible tragedy, but now you guys can only grow into different people. And I was like, hey,
Shut up.
shut the fuck up. We're so uncomfortable. No one should speak right now.
Especially you.
Yeah, who are you? So they hug.
That was
Goodbye.
weird.
I
That
wanted
was
to
weird.
die the whole time it happened. So we're gonna wrap up the reunion. Jax, this is his favorite reunion, and he sat next to James. What a
I
win!
mean, Jax had a really good reunion. This season was not that bad on him. In
No.
this reunion, absolutely nothing.
And the boys are going out, the four of them.
Shocker.
We're bros. Lisa asked Sandoval to open a bar with her. He cries just thinking about it on the spot.
Oh God.
Schwartz, on the other hand, immediately said no. Katie's like, or Schwartz is like, I didn't even tell Katie. And Katie's like, yeah, because I would have fucking killed him for saying no.
Oh my
But
God. Nothing
Lisa's like,
screams great life partner like turning down a great business opportunity.
shout out. Katie's really counting her lucky pennies because she married this guy. Lisa would like to go ahead with the bar, but apparently it can't be Tom Tom. And everyone, or who is it? James was like, be careful, it might be, or was it Andy? Someone said it's gonna become Lala's Lounge if you don't commit. Haha. Okay. Andy loved watching Lisa and Stassi do a booty bump. Lisa's like, I still fucking hate her. So let's wrap it up with Ken, puppies, cocktails, and Peter. And we did
Woohoo!
it. And that was the episode. And if there's one thing I took away from this episode, it's that Scheana's wild. This changed my whole opinion on Scheana.
Thank you. Welcome to the dark side.
I'm a big Scheana stan, and this scared the shit out of me.
I agree. I'm talking it through, really, it seeped into my bloodstream.
Listen, Shay could have very well been buying pills, but for him to be like, you knew I was sober, and her be like, I know, I was just trying to hurt you.
Not just hurt you to protect
television.
me.
Yeah, wild. Because the label thing, that was all wild. I'm shook.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a Scheana oh my God.
You're gonna spiral over this until we watch the live season of Vanderpump, which will come out for everybody else before.
I'm fucking spiraling. Anyway.
I'm wondering how it's gonna affect you in the live season. We'll have to see.
I don't know because I don't remember this, and I've always been such a Scheana stan, and now I'm just gonna
I
think about
know.
it. This was brutal.
It was.
Anyway, we did
Mhm.
it. Season 5. I can't wait. If I remember correctly, season 6 is a wild one.
I'm excited for season 6.
Season 6 is gonna be great.
It's a good one. I can't really remember season 7, so I'm excited to rewatch that. But we only have 2 more rewatches because
Season
we
7.
we started with 8, and so we've been going since.
Thank God, because 8 was terrible.
That's don't tell the people that. They don't need to know that they're in
Sorry,
for a
you're
rough
right.
ride. It was a rough ride for us recording, so we apologize
If
in
it
advance.
helps, the seasons after 8 were way better.
That's
So just
true.
gotta push.
But yeah, 2 more of the rewatch. Woo!
Oh my God, stick with us. I can't believe we've even made it this far.
I know. Are you ready to
We
sign
did
us out
it.
for the last time this season?
Oh my God, am I ever? Well, it's been a lovely season, and I'll leave you with my parting words. Forget what you heard and remember where you heard it first.